Many times people tend to prefer safe subjects. In a way, it is not a safe subject.
Come from the LGBT community, has a lot of anguish and a lot of pain in it. So the masses and the people at large don't really hear it.
Tell us something about Hrithik Roshan praising your film.
It's great. He saw the film and he called, and it was amazing to hear him speak so freely, so openly and so purely about it.
He's lovely. He was so encouraging even while we were shooting War, and I remember like we were shooting a scene and he's like, "Damn, you're so good, and he didn't go back.
Talking about Sushant, for example, he started with you in your first film and then Kitana happened.
We want to tell you about Sushant, and see, we made 2 films together. I was making a film after Rock On, and when you take on a new guy for a film, like I had not seen any of his TV work then. I just found it so compelling. That there's an elephant in the room and nobody's talking about it. You know, these are people who are real people.
But I just love how he's addressed the elephant in the room in such a correct light.
Alright, it's wonderful to have Abhishek Kapoor and Vaani Kapoor with us. Their film Chandigarh Kare Aashiqui has just released, getting a great response, and it's truly heartwarming. Pleasure having you guys with us on Bollywood Hungama.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How did you come up with the idea and you decided that yes, this is a film that I want to make? Because you've been around for a really long time, both as an actor as well as a filmmaker, and there are a lot of people in the food chain who have their opinions कि ये film का ये response हो सकता है, वहाँ पर उस sector में इसका ये response हो सकता है, and then many times people tend to prefer safe subjects. In a way, it is not a safe subject.
Having the privilege to make movies and to tell stories is a very privileged spot to be on, and I think it's every time you can't go out and venture into a very commercial arena. Sometimes you must take this opportunity and tell very important stories that need to be brought out. And I think this is an important film. This is an important story that needs to be brought into the drawing room instead of discussing this in dark rooms and just avoiding it. This is the trans community exists, the LGBTQ community exists, and they have a set of beautiful people, and they have a lot to offer to society because they themselves have been through a trial by fire. The kind of stigmatization that they go through, it's just put them in a dark corner, and they're looked at through a very wrong lens. And the kind of films that come from the LGBT community, has a lot of anguish and a lot of pain in it. So the masses and the people at large don't really hear it. So I thought it's important that this film be brought out there and be told in a language that the big masses and the public in general can relate to. And then you asked me, where did I get this idea from? It came to me in 2017. There was a lady by the name of Simran Sahni who came to me with this idea, and it had a trans character that was pivotal to the narrative, but it was a very different kind of story. But it fascinated me, to understand the complexities of what a trans person goes through. And it stayed with me, and I asked her to park that idea with me. And after Kedarnath, that idea was still simmering, and then I sat with my writers, Hrithik Sen and Tushar Paranjpe, and we deep dived into this world, and we met a lot of trans people. I met a few partners of trans people also who were very important for my understanding. I can understand. After you understand what a trans person goes through, you have to understand what kind of a man it takes to rise above this social pressures and social stigmatization and accept that. So, there was a lot of research that went in, and I just found it so compelling. There's an elephant in the room and nobody's talking about it. These are people who are real people.
But I just love how he's addressed the elephant in the room in such a correct light. I think the way it's been designed, it's not preachy. And it's not trying to, shove an idea in your face. It's some food for thought that, something that enables within you, you can go home and ponder about,
I think, you're saying the right thing about the preachy part of it, because even if in a very subtle manner, you're communicating that these are the people who have had like a sex change operation, and they are beautiful and they are living a successful life when Ayushmann is researching in the film. But it is not preachy. It is just a very like a organic sort of progression and just a part of the narrative. Okay, so एक dialogue है आपके किरदार का फिल्म में कि that मैं इतना मैं झेल चुकी हूँ कि अब मुझे डर नहीं लगता. So in a way, this is also maybe true of you as an actor,
Really?
In terms of, you know, choosing this script, going full on with it, because एक बहुत बार फिल्म जो स्क्रिप्ट के लेवल पे होती है और जो फाइनल एग्जीक्यूशन होता है उसमें बहुत बार फ़र्क होता है. तो it is definitely, I think,
I feel like I haven't walked a mile in their shoes, so I can't even begin to compare my struggles or my journey with somebody who's gone through things which we have as cis people taken for granted. You know what I mean? Like things that come normally to us, we don't even thank God every day waking up and being like, oh, thank you, you know, everybody's kind to me and nice to me, and you know, it kind of, you know, we are all included in a society without any prejudice or grudge or any kind of a misconception or whatever perception that may be not be in the right light. So I think I cannot even begin to compare myself to a Maanvi or to so many people who've had similar experiences like her. So, in fact, I after playing the part, I'd rather count my blessings than crib about something that hasn't come very easy to me, to be honest.
No, of course. But I'm sure that after this film, she will be taken in a different light altogether as an actor.
I've always seen her like this, and I've always thought that she's fabulous. I've made a whole film with her. So, you know, I mean, she's wonderful, and I've always wanted, I wish her all the best, you know, I want her to shine. And it's right there for her, I think.
Right. Okay. एक और इसमें I think subtle तरीके से एक मुद्दा सामने आता है कि that when Manu is talking to the trans woman who's there on the streets, and she tells him that she's a BA in English. So do you think that maybe slightly more awareness should be created about employment opportunities for these people, because of the stigma, as you've mentioned, they don't get the sort of jobs that maybe they.
I think, you know, our country is doing pretty well. If you know that, I hear a lot being done for the trans community today. They're part of, you know, in the political circles also, they are being included. There's a lot being done, you know, but that is for them, that still kind of puts them as a separate community. It's not inclusive enough. Inclusivity means normalization and acceptance one-on-one, you know, like as someone that you can love and your families can welcome. You know, these are natural phenomena, you know, but to think that every man or every individual, you know, for example, we take the fact that our mind and our body is in sync for granted. You know, it's not even a thought that occurs to me कि यार मैं सोचता हूँ और मैं आदमी हूँ और मेरा शरीर भी आदमी. But आप सोचिए जिनके साथ ऐसा होता है, you know, जो जिनका mind and body sync में नहीं है, you know, so they go through what processes. First you find your family rejecting you, then you find your friends society not understanding you, then you have to go to doctors for counseling, then you have to go through a physical so many surgeries that you got to do, you know, it's a traumatic experience, but the distance you cover is not even a centimeter, but psychologically, emotionally and spiritually you are traveling the universe when you finally land in the body that you think you belong in. You know, and I mean, what is beauty? Beauty is so subjective. You know, it is true. Beauty lies in the beholder. You know, किसका चेहरा अच्छा लगता है, किसकी पर्सनालिटी और चेहरा कहाँ ख़त्म होती है और कहाँ चेहरा ख़त्म होता है, शुरू होता है, आप कह नहीं सकते. तो you know, inclusivity is much more. अभी जो हमारी गवर्नमेंट कर रही है और समाज में हम इनको इंक्लूसिव कर रहे हैं, वो तो अभी एक कदम है. But individually also we should start loving one another much more.
But I love how Maanvi's been also presented in the film. She's independent. She's somebody who's found a job for herself. You know, she's a certified Zumba trainer. So it's so good to see that she's somebody who wants to stand up on her own. Like there's a dialogue between her and her father where he's like, "Listen, we are financially sound. If you need money, I can help you. I can support you." And she's like, "No, I'm going to do this on my own. I'm going to do this." Of course, I'm not taking away from the fact that she has been shown privileged enough financially to have undergone the transformation, and maybe it's not necessarily the same for so many others who I think might have to, you know, to make ends meet also is another conversation altogether. But like I like how Maanvi is so empowered, you know, by her father, like on her own. She's independent and she's somebody who wants to go out and make a living for herself and support herself.
Tell us something about Hrithik Roshan praising your film.
That is great. You know, I mean, he saw the film and he called, and it was amazing to hear him speak so freely, so openly and so purely about it. He was so touched by it. It just kind of made me feel really good that, you know, you make a film that is so out there, you know, like it's not about the gay community also. There are a lot of films made about that. This is about the trans community that people, we have to open a door, and it's kind of resonated with someone, you know, as special as Hrithik means a lot to me.
Right.
To us.
All right, and he's been your co-actor, and now he's having such wonderful things to say about your performance, your film.
He's lovely. He was so encouraging even while we were shooting War, and I remember like we were shooting a scene and he's like, "Damn, you're so good, and he didn't go back to the man, and he's so lovely, and I think he has a big heart to like go on and on about praising somebody who he, you know, whose work he likes, and he's very encouraging. For me, it's a huge motivation and an encouragement to have someone like a Hrithik, you know, embrace a film like this and talk so fondly, you know, for every performance in the movie and the direction and everything. Like, so I think he was pretty genuine about it.
He's genuinely very generous.
He's very generous.
You know, and he, I think, operates on a higher plane also. You know, he keeps his mind clear and mind clean, and he's very pure.
He's one of a kind for sure.
Yeah, he's a different person. You know.
Right. All right. And आप काफी सालों से आपकी काफी फिल्में आपकी आ चुकी हैं. But have you received this kind of response for any of your films so far?
You know, for Should They Say Romance, I had great reviews, and people really commented on my acting also. Even for Befikre, I know that it may not have met the expectations of many, although there was a very polarized reviews that I also heard. There were a lot of people and fans, and sometimes, you know how you're talking to journalists and they're like, "Hey, we loved you in Befikre and your performance was so good." But for whatever XYZ reasons, it may not have met the expectations that, you know, one was expecting it to be. But I think Gattu liked me in Befikre, and that's how maybe he even considered me. And Should They See happened, and I mean, for a film like War, which was a very small part, but was substantially, you know, given to me, like with I mean, she still was a girl of substance, you know, she wasn't a floozy in a film without any, you know, being used as a prop. Of course, the screen time was limited, but I did get appreciated for it, you know. But maybe everything, you know, you're striving to rung the ladder, and then you're trying to like get on to the next step, and maybe that had to lead me to a film like Chandigarh Kare Aashiqui. And this happened because of all those films and all those many directors who believed in me.
सारी फिल्मोग्राफी उन्होंने अच्छे तरीके से एकदम बिल्कुल लपेट ली.
I have pretty much covered everything. Was he sounding immodest?
But no, it's
No,
not.
you ask this question, the kind of appreciation you're getting for this
because
film.
now the way you will be taking it will be different.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, for sure. Because I feel
This
is also a film. This is also a part which is so fleshed out, and you know, which has so much depth to it, and there's so many layers to it, and there's so much of how do I say? It's something which I guess not many people were even expecting me to perform in a way which today, you know, they write and they say that, you know, we are pleasantly surprised, and maybe because I was the underdog of the film or something, and not too much hopes were pinned on me.
नहीं, देखिए क्या होता है ना कि आप जब ये किरदार आप जब फिल्म में देख रहे हैं, तो कहीं ना कहीं वो एक आपको जो फिजिकल आपका अट्रैक्टिवनेस है, वो सब चीजें, वो एक सोल आप अनरावल कर रहे हैं अपना. मे बी शायद पहले शायद नहीं देखा गया.
Yeah, like people used to really focus on great acting, dancing skills. Now they are like, oh no, she can also act, and she acted really well. So I'm just glad that it got me the reliability and the credibility of an actor. This part.
Alright, but as you've rightly said, you've been fine as an actor since your first film itself. Should They See Romance?
I really self-praise myself a lot?
नहीं, but इस इंडस्ट्री में तो आप जितना करना चाहिए उसके लिहाज से आप कम कर रही हैं. You are underplaying slightly, but it's all good.
I just don't want to sound.
Alright, so you had a December release 3 years back as well, and Kedarnath, you just celebrated third anniversary of that. How do you look back at that film and whatever it has brought to the table in a way?
You know, I mean, all my films are like, you know, when you make a movie, you immerse yourself into it so completely that it's almost real while you're making it. Like a film like Chandigarh Kare Aashiqui also, it's like I've been through this world. अभी फिल्म तो आप लोग आज देख रहे हैं, मगर 2 साल तक तो ये सारे कैरेक्टर्स, ये सारी दुनिया, सब कुछ रियल थी. तो I mean, जब आप केदारनाथ की बात करते हैं तो वो इससे बहुत ही अलग फिल्म है, और वो भी एक दुनिया थी मेरे लिए. एक मतलब it was real. You know, but it's when a movie is over, that real world just kind of shuts the door for me, and then I had to dive into another world. You know, so they're just they're just dreams. You know, like complete dreams, and and then you wake
dive
up
in and dive out, huh?
You have to, because I also the kind of I don't have a type, you know, like it's not like अभी मैंने ये type की फिल्में बनाऊंगा या जब मैंने Rock On बनाई तो एक और musical और एक और तो from there I went into Gujarat to make Kai Poche, which was about 3 different kinds of films from a different strata of society. And then I tried Fitur, and then Kedarnath happened. And now so these are all very different journeys, different worlds, different dreams, and I just don't. There is no connection between them. In fact, when I go from one film to the other, there's a process of unlearning. You know, actually to undo everything you know and to just walk into a room or to an idea afresh. You know, I mean, I think my subconscious knows that I know how to make a movie, but how to look at that idea, I don't go with any preconceived notion.
Right.
I let it tell me what to do.
Talking about Sushant, for example, he started with you in your first film, and then Kedarnath happened. How do you look at? Yeah, of course, should they see romance? How do you look at the way things have happened post his unfortunate demise? The way do you think he would have approved of the way things really happened? Because I'm sure that you knew him as a person.
We want to tell you about Sushant and how it was between him and me. I mean,
yeah, of course.
See, we made 2 films together. You know, 2 very important films in our career. I was making a film after Rock On, and it was with new people again. And when you take on a new guy, you know, for a film, like I had not seen any of his TV work then, and you just put everything into it. He's an extension of you, and he has so many hopes on me. While I have Raju and I have Amit Sadhan there as well, but you just strike a bond, you know. And that movie was very grueling. It was very action oriented, and his energy and it's just you just fuse with people, you know. And then when a movie gets over, you part, or something you take with you, and then you come back again. We tried to collaborate on another movie, that didn't happen. And then we came together and then we did Kedarnath together, and then Kedarnath was another tough film, and I've seen him through a lot, you know. I mean, there is so much to discuss. I don't know what to answer, what to say to you on this matter right now.
No, it's okay. I totally understand that. Alright, it's time for Sporto Athleisure Rapid Fire Round with Vaani Kapoor. And yes, my hoodie is also from Sporto Athleisure.
Thank you.
And let's have some fun. What was the immediate first reaction when Hrithik recently praised you for Chandigarh Kare Aashiqui?
My God. I wasn't expecting him to, like, so he had actually called me before he put it up on Instagram. I think he called me, Gattu, Ayushmann, all 3 of us, and he was just, no, actually, even before that, he texted me during the interval saying that, how good are you? I think I was just too excited from there on. So yeah.
What Manu's sister did to Maanvi upon knowing her truth, if you were there, what would you have done?
No, you're making me be in a very virtual world, enter there and behave there. Of course, I mean, nobody is going to entertain that kind of a behavior, and I'm obviously going to be all against it. So I don't know, what would you want me to do? What are my options? Could I slap them? Is that violence? I don't know. He's like, okay, let's not go to the violence zone. Let's
but I think
press upon another issue.
They were really bullish. You can broadcast one sentence to every TV channel and radio in the world and have it translated to each country's language. What sentence would you say?
A message.
Yeah.
Be kind and grateful.
What do you think made Maanvi fell in love with a gym freak Manu?
I think it was the fact that, you know, she was looking from what she was looking from the world at large was a sense of belonging and love and, you know, yeah, just a connect which she found in Manu.
Okay.
And that seemed pure to her and very rare. Yeah.
What is something which is not considered normal you wish it was?
I guess a lot of mindsets, no? Like we all have our barometer of what's normal, what's not normal. But since we're talking about the subject in my film, I would say let's normalize this whole transphobia and the stigma attached to it.
If Vaani meets Manu, what's something she won't like about him at all?
I think the first half kinds of makes us not be on his side because of the way he reacts. But I think he makes up in the second half where he explains as to why a certain kind of educational background and the life and the friends he's been, you know, grown up and the kind of, you know, the whole surroundings that he's been grown up in did not educate him enough to know what's right, what's wrong, what's trans. Like he never even heard the name trans. So I think somebody like him, I think because he's evolved from the first half to the second half, I think I would just I'll root for him right at the end.
If Maanvi meets Vicky Dona, what would they talk about?
Good for you. you're doing a great job at it.
What is your definition of a real man?
Somebody who has the spine and the courage to stand up for his ethics and moral values and principles and for the ones he loves.
All right. I wanted to tell you everything, but I couldn't. Pata nahi kyun, says Maanvi to Manu. Why do you think she couldn't tell him the truth?
So she did try. You're talking about the coming out scene. She does try actually to convey the message to him, but I think it's in the heat of the moment and the kind of the delicacy of the situation was such that she couldn't say it out loud to him. Not that she did not have the intention to. So I think it's just sometimes the situation sometimes gets out of your control, and you happen to you kind of sway in the moment, and even for something like that she felt terribly guilty, which is why she came up forward and confessed.
How will you react to these YouTube comments and trailer of Chandigarh Kare Aashiqui? This is Nilanjana Pant. Everyone is praising Ayushmann for taking up such a topic, but you are completely ignoring the fact that it's Vaani who's playing the said stigmatized role. She agreed to play the unconventional character, which could put her in a controversy. Hats off to Vaani, much respect.
That is so sweet. What do I say? This kind of motivates me to be better at my craft and to do good, and honestly, at a very human level also, I'm touched.
This is Manav Shastri. A big thumbs up for Vaani Kapoor. She's underrated and has always played an important role, but in this one, she just broke the stereotype. She has done a very few films, but no one can question her talent. She's always impressed audiences with her performances, even in that small role in War. God knows why she doesn't do more films.
God knows, yeah, I don't know. I mean, God knows, and some directors in the film industry need to know. But I feel this is very affectionate of you to say such lovely things, and I really hope I get good, interesting parts to play in the future, and he should always go and watch my movie and give me loves.
Would you say this is your best performance so far?
I would say it's a very intense and a very important, critical, how do I say, a part that I've played in a film. It's very hard for me to say that, you know what, in the sense, I mean, the fact that I've been playing cisgenders and I didn't have a moral responsibility to another community, in that aspect, yes.
Did any industry friend of yours suggest you not to do such role?
No, I don't think I was going around asking and seeking advice on it.
Would you say Ayushmann looked his hottest self in Chandigarh Kare Aashiqui?
I guess, yeah. He did transform really beautifully. He did a lot of hard work, and I think I don't think only female fan following, but even men must be really rooting for his transformation.
Okay. Manu ka physique ya Manu ka romance? What's more fascinating?
It's the romance over the physique, Yeah, you get lean, you get tone, you get fitter, then you give up and you loosen it and whatever. But it's who the person is and the charm behind all of that that matters.
Even Maanvi helps him loosen up.
Yeah, with Zumba.
Okay, Tumbe Te Zumba ya Kalle Kalle, your favorite song?
Kalle Kalle.
No workout for a year ya no Instagram for a year?
I'll have to work out, not that I enjoy working out. So I'll say it because I have to be fit for my job. And in life, I mean, I should be fit. So I think I would skip an Instagram. Actually, I won't miss social media so much if it fully it's eradicated and disappears from the face of this earth for everybody.
Friends ya The Big Bang Theory, favorite show?
Friends.
News channels ya newspaper?
Instagram feeds and those, you had those in short, you get those quick news updates.
So neither?
Now I'm just sounding very daft. News channels.
Congrats, Vaani, on winning Sporto Athleisure gift hamper.
Yay! This was hard. What a tough competition today.
Sporto Athleisure gift hamper for Vaani Kapoor. Alright, so Abhishek and Vaani, thank you very much for your time. Congratulations once again for a wonderful response for Chandigarh Kare Aashiqui. And we generally hope that it's a huge success. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all we have from Bollywood Hungama. Keep on watching.